ACC Huddle. The game has concluded. College football has arrived, and UNC is 1-0. Put on a show here at Kenan Stadium. And you guys heard Matt Berry. The floor is mine. The show is mine. That's what Matt Berry said.
It's always yours, brother.
That's what Matt Berry said. Jordan Cornette, EJ Manuel, Eric McLean, Coach Mark Richt waiting in the wings. He'll be joining us here shortly. 40-24, Tar Heels victorious. The story coming in is Sam Howell's no longer the quarterback. Drake May, QB1, announced earlier this week. Eric, your biggest takeaway from a guy who threw nearly 300 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, it was just on full display, what I went and saw in camp and thought that he was the better decision maker, thought that he was much more consistent when we saw him in drills, and that was just magnified tonight. He spread the ball so well, and that was something we talked about at halftime that was just shocking to me as a young guy to come in there and be able to go 1, 2, 3. There, I get the ball out. Oh, corner cat, I'm going to get it out quick. So, for a young guy, that was extremely impressive to see.
What I loved was his composure. There were so many moments in this game where, FAMU was getting after him. They were moving the ball on offense. Defense was making a couple stops, getting them off the field early on third down situations. And I thought he just hung in there, and he allowed the game to truly come to him. That big run he had in the first quarter, I think was one of those moments where he's just like, I can do this. You know what I mean? And then he went to work after that, got Josh Downs a bunch of opportunities in the end zone as well. So a great showing for the young man.
You know what was so fascinating, and this offense looks so different? There weren't a lot of shots. I don't think there was one down the field 50-plus yard bomb. That how many times did we see Sam Howell do that over and over again? So this guy, again, just a distributor, a point guard out there, dishing it left, right, tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, getting everybody involved. It's impressive to see, JC, from a young cat.
Impressive. How about this? Drake May, his first career start. He throws 5 touchdowns. No Tar Heel at quarterback position in their first start had ever achieved something like that. So it speaks to, look, a big-time performance. But, EJ, I need to put this in perspective. No disrespect to FAMU and HBCU. Much respect to FAMU and the fight that they showed here. But they don't have the resources to necessarily compete for an entire game against the Tar Heels. So should we put that in perspective when we talk about Drake May saying, hey, look, this ain't a Power 5 defense? How should we analyze ultimately what we saw here today from Drake?
Well, let me make this clear. FAMU is going to be an excellent football team this year.
Yes, sir.
Defensively, they had guys coming from the deep third and secondary, striking down, making great tackles in the open field. So I don't think you dilute this at all for the young quarterback. 5 touchdowns against anybody. You playing college football is excellent. No interceptions on the day, no fumbles, and that's what I wanted to see from him. I knew he was going to play good. The game's going to come to you when you're a young guy and you're playing a team that's not necessarily on your level. But one thing that I loved was his composure. Didn't turn the ball over, had a clean game. That's all I called for today.
And the way that he did it, I think there would be something to say, Jay, if it was guys butt naked running down the field and he's just, throwing darts. He was putting the ball in possession in places that a quarterback has to, throwing really good strikes, And so that's why I don't think you sit here and say, oh, by the way, it was against this school. Now, certainly next week, a much bigger test,
Yeah, and that cohesiveness, too, with Josh Downs. That was something we talked about all day coming into this game. And at times, there were some balls that were in the dirt.
Well, it's interesting.
There were some balls where Josh was like, hey, give it to me in my chest. And that's something that Josh is used to from a Sam Howell, an NFL quarterback. Drake handled it. Young quarterbacks, sometimes they'll shell down to a guy that's already a 1,000-yard receiver, but he answered the bell, came right back to him, threw a touchdown, and they're best friends after that again.
Yeah, exactly. And you called it, man. You called it, and you said, look, he threw it in the dirt. They're going right back to him. And what did they do? You have to get him involved.
They
run double slants, pull him out in the flat, and he's wide open, and it's easy. The one other part that I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I figured it would be soon, Amarion Hampton, running back 1. Like, he's the guy. He's so much different than any other running back on this roster, JC. It's just a guy that is going to get more and more responsibility as he goes on.
I got to ask, because it was a question that loomed large coming into the game. The fall camp quarterback battle, heck, the spring quarterback battle, the summer quarterback battle. You say it's over. Drake is clearly the guy. So were you surprised with how it was handled today? A blowout that was running away with the Tar Heels were this game. We didn't see Jacoby Criswell until inside of 4 minutes. Were you surprised that that's how they approached this tonight, EJ?
Well, Coach Mack Brown during the week said if they're scoring points, if they're moving the football, that quarterback's going to play.
That's what he said.
And that's what they did. They put up a bunch of points, and sure, it was a little slow early in the game, but, you know, the coaches allowed him to kind of get himself, immerse himself into the game, bring his own identity. And like I said earlier, that long run is those plays where as a QB, and let's go play ball, and that's exactly what happened.
Can you really say, though, it's over after beating FAMU in week one?
FAMU's going to be a good team, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, I think so, but the weird thing to me is, why did we say the things that we did? Why did we make it seem like Drake wasn't the guy when it's evident? And maybe that's just what it was. Maybe it was an insurance policy that if this happens, Criswell's going in. But I don't know. The way it was handled, I mean, he did what he said. Yeah, you're scoring touchdowns, you stay in.
The other part, too, maybe does Criswell start next week? I don't think he will. Right. But, you know, Drake's the guy.
Criswell ain't start next week.
That's what I'm saying. you alluded to the question of why was that talked about. Right. Maybe Coach Brown's going to give both guys opportunities. Didn't really give Criswell opportunities to throw the ball at all, so we didn't see him. Drake's the dude.
Yeah, Drake is indeed the dude. How about Josh Downs just as a performer out there tonight? And the other weapons with this Tar Heels group, what was your impression there?
Well, really just the diversity of him getting it out to everybody. I mean, obviously, Josh is the marquee guy. He is going to get touches, targets. We're going to see him move around in a lot of different spots as competition heightens. But I just loved how he used all of his weapons to his disposal.
Yeah, Josh was amazing to watch, but defensively as well. Cedric Gray did a good job, especially out in coverage. I think that's something that a linebacker has to really work on. He grew from that area. If you watched him last season, another area too, the DBs for UNC, they were playing soft. And that's why I thought FAMU's quarterback, who had an excellent day, just dinking and dunking, taking what the defense gave him. And as the game went on, third quarter, they started tightening down, playing a little more man coverage, and that's when that thing slowed down.
I've got some more thoughts on defense. We'll get to that in a second, Jason.
Okay, absolutely. Oh, little deep tease here in the show. All right, well, right now, Kelsey Riggs was able to catch up with, right after the game, that star receiver, one of the best pass catchers in the country, Josh Downs. Take a listen.
Josh, first of all, congratulations. Always feels good to win the first one and to come out of it with a couple of touchdowns on your own. What impressed you the most about what you saw from Drake?
He was really poised in there. I mean, he's a young kid, but he came in there and played his game. I mean, I expected that from him, though. He's a really good ball player, and he's a gamer. So I'm excited about the future with Drake, and I feel like he can lead his team to a lot of victories.
You came back to this team when you had other options, and obviously there are high expectations for you, not just here but nationwide, and this offense. So what do you see when you look at this offense and what you guys can potentially do this season?
I feel like we got a lot more weapons than last year. I feel like last year a lot of people just tried to say it was me, but it really wasn't. We had other guys too, but this year we got a lot of young guys. I mean, you saw Gavin Blackwell out there making a few plays, Bryson Nesbitt making a few plays, and we got those two great backs, Omarion Hampton and George Pettaway. So we got a lot of guys that can make plays and change the game. So teams can't just focus on me. They got to focus on them too.
Josh, we appreciate the time. Congrats on the win.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, some of the fans have stuck around to chat with the players. Their appreciation that college football has returned. Also, gratitude for the performance they saw. UNC getting off to a 1-0 start here at Kenan Stadium. How we got there? I've got a shot sheet. We got highlights. I'm going to show it off to you right now. The guys, they're going to chime in with the analysis. Of course, FAMU in their first ever Week 0 game taking on UNC, and this place was packed. Much respect to the Tar Heel fans showing up here in inclement weather early on. Drake May, first career start, giving him a show with his feet here.
Is that Sam Howell or is that Drake May, man? We're using our legs out here. I thought this is when everything changed and he got confident, calm in the pocket, and as you see, just delivering the RPO strike to his tight end.
Nice touch pass there to Kamari Morales. UNC strikes first. They lead 7-0. Just over 30 seconds to play in the first game, tied 7 apiece. What do you see here, Coach Rick? EJ.
Yeah, his feet were really calm right there. I thought one of the areas that I loved about Drake's game tonight, his feet were calm, and even here on this scramble drill, he doesn't panic. He gets out of the pocket, nothing's open early, get outside, make a throw, hit the receiver's chest, touchdown Carolina.
It just seemed like at every turn, Eric, there was a command and a presence from their quarterback in Drake.
Yeah, and that's the play we were just talking about earlier. We're going to go double slants on the top, get it to your great wide receiver, get him involved.
Then here a little bit of the ground game show and face. George Pettaway makes a few miss, sheds a couple tackles. Tutty time, 29 yards. He finds the end zone. UNC rolling at this point. The run game, they got something there, EJ.
Absolutely. They got a bunch of running backs that can make plays. And tonight was the night to show that. Really, not even for the running backs, the offensive line, too, to give those guys confidence and let them eat as well.
Coach, he's an All-American candidate. They're going to find him early and often. Most targets in ACC last year. Josh Downs finishes things off.
Looks like he's going to get a bunch of targets this year, too. So far, so good.
So far, so good indeed. 56-24, your final UNC victorious. Drake May completed 75% of his passes. He threw 5 touchdowns. Over the last 15 seasons, the only other ACC player to do that in their first career start, Jameis Winston in 2013, who did it against Pitt. We've heard from EJ. We've heard from Eric. Coach, your impression of what we saw from Drake May tonight?
I thought he took care of business. I think opportunities presented themselves. He made them. I think, EJ, you mentioned the quarterback run, the scramble that kind of got his confidence up, got his blood pumping. All of a sudden, he starts throwing 4 touchdown passes in the first half. I think most ever in North Carolina history. Just a great night. And I think we'd have seen more of Criswell, but the kid from Florida A&M played too good. Yep. You know, the A&M played so well, it was tough to get the second quarterback in the game.
And because FAMU was playing so well early on, came the questions about the Tar Heels defense, which has held them back these last few seasons. EJ spoke of some of the high notes, some of the things he enjoyed from that defense. EMAC, you weren't quite sold.
It was almost, we kept going back and forth on this. It was almost so vanilla that FAMU knew what was happening. It was cover 2 every other time. It was these man coverage busts where, Coach, guys are just screaming down the field wide open, and I didn't see the push that I have to see from this defensive line. I've spoken with Mark Packer. I've spoken with Trey Boston. Those guys have to step up. They're 5 stars. They're 4 stars. They have to be guys that can absolutely wreak havoc, and that has not been the case. Now, are the bodies there? Are the athletes there? Yes. They just have to go and do it, and I'm not sure why, Coach.
Well, I think history's going to show this Musa kid is a ball player.
Absolutely.
And I know there's a bunch of great quarterbacks in our league, and they're going to see a bunch of great quarterbacks. But this kid was no slouch, and I think when they go back and look at the tape, he made some amazing throws under pressure. So I think they did some good things. He just executed.
Yeah, Jeremy Musa, he put some stuff on tape tonight where he put people on notice. He's going to make some money. He's going to play at the next level. And that's what Carolina has to look at this. When you look at the game on tape, sure, it wasn't clean. Sure, they didn't create the turnovers that they necessarily wanted to. But when it called for it, they got that pick late before the second half. That was huge. That flipped the field. Carolina scored off of that. But a bunch of things to clean up, and they'll be fine moving forward at App State.
And I know no defensive coordinator wants to hear this. I know no team wants to hear this. Let's score 50 a night. If that's what we have to do, Wake Forest did it a year ago. Yep. Put up points. Well, do what you got to do.
Let me hit you right back there. We heard Josh Downs say it to Kelsey Riggs. We got more weapons this year than we did last year. Yeah. It's kind of wild to think about after watching what this offense did a year ago and Sam Howell was the quarterback. Right. Do you believe that to be true? If you're saying go out there and score 50, you must.
No, I think they can. I mean, you saw today what's so different, and I'm not sitting here comparing, saying he's better than Sam Howell. He's a freshman. He's a baby.
No, too early
but
to have
he
that
can get that. Watch out for these. He can get the ball to everybody, and he moves it around. And it's almost, Coach, like a year ago and EJ a year ago, Sam would hold on for the home run every other time, and that's why we saw sacks. We saw unbelievable big plays, but this kid just distributes it differently.
I agree. I mean, he was definitely going through his progressions, and there was enough times that the ball got the downs where the coordinator, Longo, he didn't have to start trying to create ways to get him the ball. He got it within the system. And that's the best way to go.
Yeah, let me tell you what we're not going to do at this desk or on these airwaves is start to crown Drake May as the next Sam Howell.
No.
It's disrespectful to Sam Howell, what Sam's achieved in his career here, breaking 27 different records, and Drake's just getting started. It's unfair to him as well. Let him go out there and play good football, and we'll analyze what we saw on the field. What we saw tonight from Drake May, pretty darn impressive.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, let's keep on doing it. All right, let's show you Florida State because they looked impressive kicking off the season. Supposed to get kick-started at 5 o'clock tonight here on our airwaves. Ended up being 6:30 due to some inclement weather. We were battling it everywhere. Tallahassee, no different. But this group excited to get out there and start Coach Norvell's 3rd season. A lot of optimism early on. Jordan Travis looking to party, Jay.
Absolutely. QB1, starting off with a touchdown big, call his own number right there, drop the shoulder, gets in for a touchdown.
A perfect pass. Johnny Wilson, you want to see him catch it maybe a little bit cleaner, but he ends up holding that thing in.
He was so happy to catch that thing, it was crazy.
Because he had a drop earlier, Coach, you're absolutely right. He holds it in. And then the next play, the run game, which loomed large in this game. More on that in a little bit. Lawrence Toafili takes it in 4 yards for the touchdown. Kisses being blown to the crowd. FSU leads 13 now. How about Trayshawn Ward? These backs, EJ.
Yeah, it reminds me of a young Devontae Smith years ago. But nonetheless, these guys ran the football. 3 rushers going over 100 yards, and this being one of them right here, Benson.
You just said it. 3 different running backs going for over 100 yards. A lesser opponent, of course, in Duquesne. But clearly, that deep backfield is a weapon. This time, it's Ward who makes the move. Sheds a few, gets it going.
I mean, it's just on repeat. These guys said, hey, look, this is our identity. We are going to run the football. As you see a little razzle-dazzle, put them in the spin cycle. I love this, though. This is what I wanted to see from Florida State.
And why you wanted to see it is because the Noles had lost their last 4 season openers. They needed to leave nothing to chance, and they came out businesslike. A dart to Kentron Portier, 48-yard pass here, Coach.
Yeah, Jordan Travis did a great job throwing the ball. I think 11 for 15. And I think they had thrown it more, but early on in the game, the rain was coming down pretty good. The run was working, so keep hammering the ball.
First time the Noles have started 1-0 since 2016. First time in FSU history, 3 100-yard rushers in the same game. That's you, Mr. Ward, Mr. Benson, and Mr. Toafili. Wow. And that makes you dangerous when you never know whose number is going to be called, and they can hurt you with that ground game. Also props up Jordan Travis to be dangerous. Coach Norvell, postgame.
But just to start off, really proud of our football team. Come out, a lot of work's gone into the off season and just into preparation for this first game. I thought we showed as a fast and physical football team. First time in school history we've had 300-yard rushers in a game. That's impressive, and that goes not just to the running backs, but to the O-line, to the tight ends, receivers, everybody doing their part. But I was really pleased with the way that our guys showed up. I think we've got a great running back room, and those guys are very competitive, but they're very supportive in how they work. And we want to be a football team that we move forward on contact, and I thought those guys showed it. They were able to break some tackles. They've done that, throughout fall camp and scrimmages and live situation. It was good to see it show up. All in all, it was a good game one.
How does a game like this kind of prepare you guys going into next week when you have to get ready for an LSU team in New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean, it's still anytime you get experience, I think it helps. And this was the first time that this team got a chance to take the field together. And when we get an opportunity to go out there and execute, we got to go play at a high level. And it's going to be a great challenge. It's going to be a great opportunity. Being a national showcase game, probably won't need a whole lot of motivational speeches next week, but the focus is on us. It has to be on our growth. And, that's where I thought our guys did a nice job, especially with week one. And, you have a game like that, behind you. And that's what everybody wants to talk about is what, media wants to talk about is that the LSU game. Well, tonight mattered. Tonight mattered. What we did, the way our guys played. I mean, it was important because it's still about us. And I appreciate the work and the focus that our guys had on this plan and the opportunity that we got in front of our home crowd.
Coach, we talked about it coming in. Critical. Florida State gets off to a good start because of the history, losing the last 4 openers. How important was it for them to look the way they looked tonight?
It was a big deal. I mean, when you get over 600 yards of offense and hold the other team to 160 or whatever it was, I mean, that's a good day's work, and there's no doubt about it. And we got to temper our enthusiasm just a little bit because it was the Dukes of Duquesne, okay? But they played exactly the way you'd hope they'd play. They took care of business. Everything was clean, and you can't ask for more than that.
One area that won't show up on the stat sheet for Jordan Travis was he was the eraser in this game, too. There was a few times where the snap was low, snap was high. He handled that. He still got the exchange clean, give these running backs an opportunity, and obviously they ate. 3 of them going for over 100 yards. And then to look downfield and make some of these big throws, I was really proud of how Jordan Travis came out in his first debut. Coach
E, I love the mindset of the team. That's what I wanted to see. And I agree with you. You have to take it with a grain of salt there. But just to see them execute at that level, my biggest key of the game was offensive line always going forwards, no MAs, no silly mistakes, no sacks. And I don't think they had any of that. And so when you see that, okay, we can do it. Oh, we just did that last year. We can continue to build on this. This is what our team wants to be. That's where they found that identity, JC, is running the football. And then quarterback play I thought was tremendous. His footwork was exceptional. His handwork was exceptional, the way he was catching the football, but also the touch on the passes. It's great to see that growth.
Florida State week 1. Now we're through week 0. They go to New Orleans.
Different beast.
They get LSU. Coach, are they ready for the challenge?
I think they're ready for the challenge. And I guess the question, too, is LSU ready for the challenge? They're going through a coaching change, going through a change at the quarterback position. You know, they've lost a lot of guys, and they've been recruiting good for a long time, so there'll be a huge difference in the body types that they're going to see at LSU compared to what they saw with the Dukes here. But it's going to be a great ball game, and I'm looking forward to it.
And the value of playing in week 0, you get an extra week to prepare for a big game against LSU. So now you go back to the film room tomorrow, guys, get that soreness out, get the kinks out, clean up things, and then you go out there and play free against LSU in a big moment.
And you just get that first game, those first game jitters out. I mean, LSU's going to be dealing with them. LSU's going to have obviously the tape to see, but they're doing this for the first time. And so do you have false starts? Do you have snap communication errors? Do you have anything on that offensive side? Because as you mentioned, you're dealing with a new quarterback. And then just defensively, alignment issues, things that you'd love to get out in a week 0 that FSU coach obviously got to.
Well, but LSU does have a little bit of advantage, and you mentioned that they've got some tape to watch. They got some tape to watch of the scheme, and they got some tape to watch of Florida State's personnel too. Florida State doesn't have that advantage.
Correct.
So I think that could go work against Florida State to a certain degree.
And you talk about all the new. Oh, by the way, Brian Kelly stepping in. It's a whole new era there for LSU as well as they try to establish an identity with a new head coach. So you can look at it as advantages. You can look at it with the tape as a disadvantage. But they got to go out there and ultimately play football. And Florida State heads into this one 1-0 for the first time since 2016. We'll talk more about week 1 football here later on in the show. But coming up in the show as well, the birthday boy. He too is 1-0. The legend, Coach Mack Brown, after he gets done with his team, kind enough to join us here on set.
This is 2022. It's a whole new season. When you play ACC football every week, you got to show up. It's a tough league. Every time you go out there, you got to earn the victory.
I think the Atlantic is going to be as good as it's been in a really long time.
Here we go. Let them know once again. Yeah, you see me coming in. Got to show them I'm a fighter. I've been holding it down. Who want to go pound for pound? I got the title. You want to take, come and try to.
It's about Pitt, about the ACC. You give them to us, we'll play whoever you tell us to play. There's a lot of excitement, in Pittsburgh for September 1st.
Boy, is he electric. Won't find nobody like me. And that's high key. I can't stop. No, I can't quit.
I think when we all came to NC State, we wanted to put NC State in a place where it's never been before.
He has been all that was advertised and more.
Let's just go play football. So whoever they put on our schedule, let's play.
Wow! What a score! Just know that I came to win. You know I came to win.
I love the fact that we have heightened expectations, that I'm at a place where people expect, great things. Adversity either grinds you up or shines you up, and it truly depends on what you're made of.
Now listen to the crowd start roaring. I can't stop. No, I can't quit. I won't run, I won't be dismissed. Yeah, I gotta shine, I'm going for it. So tell everybody that I came to win. I'm taking it higher.
Anytime that you get a team at home, you feel like you have an advantage. We believe that when we're at Dome, with the noise that we can make in the Dome, that it gives us an advantage.
It's only right we go higher. It's only right we go higher. I can't stop. No, I can't quit. I won't quit. I won't run. I won't be dismissed. You know it. I gotta shine. I'm going for it. So tell everybody that I came to win. You know I'm taking it higher. On fire, you don't need your lighter. You rolling now, full speed on the tires. Don't matter what game I'm in. Just know that I came to win. You know I came to win. I came to win.
I want to hit this desk, but I can't do it as hard as EMAC did earlier on in the show. But I'm excited. You got to be excited, too, for Coach. Coach Mack Brown, it's his birthday today. Look how they decorated his office right there.
He got all those J's for his birthday?
That might be the coolest thing. That's just in there every day. The balloons were the addition for the birthday. The rest of it, that's just how he lives life.
I thought MJ delivered the shoes to him. So
he had to. That's the story.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's got that relationship. Absolutely. So we saw the montage of all the great matchups. That's week 1, not sprinkled throughout the season. I'll tell you, Labor Day weekend, we are cranking with some high-level ones. Coach, of that entire offering, which game are you most excited for?
I'm thinking Clemson, Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I really want to see these quarterbacks play. DJ Uiagalelei, it's time to see what this cat can do, what he looks like in the 2022 version of himself. And if he takes care of business, I feel it's a wrap for the whole league, to be honest with you, because their defense is so good. But a year ago, as you remember, Georgia Tech just about beat Clemson. At the very end of the game, they snuck it out. But and then Sims, too. Here's another quarterback that's got a chance to really raise his stock.
Yeah. Now, I'm excited to see that Louisville-Syracuse game. It's a conference game, so that game matters. You know what I mean? As far as these guys wanting to get to that Atlantic or get to that Coastal Divisional championship. So I think that's going to be an excellent game. You got Malik Cunningham on the road early in the Dome. We know that defense is going to bring it. It's going to be an excellent matchup.
Yeah, what a start for the Atlantic there. And you have two of the most exciting players in the conference with Cunningham and Sean Tucker. It's going to be freaky. But let's not get it twisted. The number one game on that list is who? Pitt and West Virginia. I cannot wait for that game, and I know all
You've been
these
waiting
Pitt
11
fans,
years for it.
We have been. It's not fair, but let me just tell you something. Keaton Slovis is about to take the country, not the conference, the country by storm. This guy's arm talent is freaky. He has 5 offensive linemen back that are going to protect him unbelievably well, and I think this wide receiver room coach is going to really make some noise.
I think just right there, that throw right there was enough for me to say he's got great QB fundamentals.
Did he catch it?
I'll tell you what, this kid is really a great ball player, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him. And he's got a great number, too, number 9.
You like that?
Yes, sir.
You like that?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Our teammate in Dallin Cuff was ribbing me because he saw a clip where I was in Pitt with EJ coming off fall camp. And I said, coming in, I had Miami winning the Coastal, but I picked Pitt. He goes, how do you do that in one day of practice? I said, because I only had one question coming in. What would Keaton look like? I need to have eyes on him. And I had my quarterback guru sit next to me. Yeah. And when EJ said, that's the guy, I said, well, then that was the only question mark. Right. And I sat with EJ a year ago when we were at Winston-Salem watching Wake Forest. He goes, that team's special. And they ended up winning the division and playing in the championship game.
JC,
so
I appreciate that.
Go ahead and ride with that.
You,
so tell me this, EJ. What made you, I guess, convince me that Keaton Slovis looks that good and looks the part?
Well, when I watch quarterbacks, I always look at their feet because I really believe if your feet are clean, you're going to be accurate and you're going to be on time. And that's what Keaton showed, especially in 7-on-7 and red zone. And then we got an opportunity to watch him in 2 minutes. 2 plays, a middle seam route, and then a bang 8 down in the red zone. And I was like, yeah, he's the guy. So when you talk about leadership, he's had success at USC. Of course, injuries, sidelined him a little bit. But this guy is more than just a QB that can throw it. He's also sneaky athletic. So if there's moments where it breaks down, he can take off and get plays with his legs too.
And, oh, by the way, maybe one of the best defenses in the country.
No question.
Pitt. I think they have the 3rd best defensive line in the country. I think it's Clemson, Georgia, and then Pittsburgh. Listen,
who do you like the most on that defense?
You know who it is. You know what time it is.
Hava.
He is a freak.
I thought it was Cansey. Okay.
I like Cansey too, but I think Cansey's kind of like.
Can we plug the podcast? Because he's
coming Wednesday. Here you go. Check it out. I think Cansey's kind of where he is. I think, and that's a 1st-round draft pick. I think Baldonado is going to fly up boards. I think he's really going to have that double-digit sack year, and he's a leader. He's a guy. He's from Rome, Italy. Didn't know anything about football. Comes over here as a senior and goes berserk.
But I love what you told me about that defense, the personnel, and they pay attention to who eats, right?
Jay, listen, they get pissed off when someone else gets the sack. They're fighting each other. Back to the line, said, you cheated. You didn't do the stunt correctly. I mean, it is a legit competition between those guys. Every down, Coach, and you have a little experience going against that third down defense.
It's unbelievable, and it's been happening year after year after year. They're leading the nation in sacks, and they get you in 3rd and long, and they dial it up with exotic blitz twist. It's going to come from the corner, free safety, linebackers. You think it's coming here, you set your protection here. It comes over here, your quarterback gets hit in the mouth. It's so difficult to defend as an offensive team.
And another addition that is going to make this team even better in the long run for the season is that offensive line. All those guys are redshirt seniors, being led by the left tackle, Carter Warner.
He's a beast.
They've been there for a long time. They block for Kenny Pickett, so they know what it takes to help your quarterback be a Heisman finalist. So let's see what they can do for Keaton.
So let me go to the opposite end of the spectrum, a game we haven't talked about, but you mentioned a fortified offensive line at Pitt. Boston College, now a Christian Mahogany lost for the season, a 1st-round talent. They have 5 new offensive linemen there. They draw a Big Ten opponent in Rutgers. Look, Rutgers isn't a powerhouse, but it's still a Power 5 opponent. Is that a dicey game for Coach Hafley's group?
Listen, Greg Schiano is a defensive guy. He is going to try to confuse that offensive line. He's going to bring all kinds of junk. But here's the deal. I think that when you look at, like, big threes in football, you look at Patrick Garwo III, you look at Phil Jerkovic, you look at Zay Flowers, put them up against pretty much anybody, and you're feeling good about them. How much can Phil grow? How healthy can he be for an entire year, Coach? And I think we could see some dark horse secrets from Boston College.
One thing about offensive line play, and I hate to say this in front of you, man.
Hold on. Unplug his mic. I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
If you could just get run over slowly, if you just get your hat,
I like that.
If you get your hat on the right person and you fight,
just takes a half second.
You can hold the pass rush off enough for a guy like Jerkovic to get rid of the ball
no question.
and get it to the great players.
That's true. Mark Packer asked me about that. Well, I was talking about Brennan Armstrong and what UVA can be. I think they're going to be an excellent team offensively. But he was saying, well, what about the O-line? A lot of times coaches can kind of abbreviate. You can call a game. If you don't have an offensive line that's that strong or that's good, you can still call a game. Play action passing. Get your quarterback out the pocket.
Max
Q8,
protect.
Q9. Max protect. Get some tight ends.
For years.
Running backs, they chip on the edge.
Amen.
So there's moments where you can still create opportunities for the passers to throw the ball downfield. So I don't think the new 5 offensive linemen is going to be an issue at all for BC.
If somebody said, would you rather have 5 great skill guys and a sorry line of the best line in America and average skill guys? Give me the skill dudes.
Absolutely.
Give me the skill guys.
So now you set him up to hurt him. Now you just hammered him down into the ground. Rendered him useless here on the desk. Coach has thrown a couple strays out here early on.
I think really,
early in the show.
to make it sound better for the offensive lineman.
I've lived it.
And it's true because at times you do have to let your offensive line gel. Sometimes it's not just you come out on the field and these guys are already, able to block these werewolves we always talk about. Sometimes you have to give them, situations where it fits them, whether you slide left, slide right. You just put them in,
if
in a
they're
uniform
smart
way.
and if they're tough, they'll get after your butt enough to give your skill guys a shot.
Do you know what an Olay block is?
Oh, yeah.
If we were on the field, I'd give you a couple of those right now. Hey, go. Look out, Coach.
Oh, sorry, Coach.
Don't do that to him. You wouldn't do that to him. I want to go back to that conference game, that Louisville-Syracuse game that EJ mentioned. I love that you mentioned it because when you look at the Atlantic, you like Clemson, you like NC State. I think everybody can agree. 1 or 2, that's the combination. But who is the third best team in the Atlantic?
Wake Forest, still. Easily.
Wow.
I think Wake Forest offense around them. I think their system.
But hold on. Even with no Sam Hartman.
I think that Griffiths is going to be
a lot of people are talking about Louisville and Florida State. And Louisville has an opportunity to prove themselves in this game.
Yeah.
But you just jump right to Wake Forest.
Yeah, I think they deserve that respect, number one. And I think this coaching staff, they thrive in these type of scenarios. They thrive in, okay, you're going to let me show my development. You're going to let me show what I've been doing for 2 or 3 years with this quarterback. I think they're going to surprise some people. And I still think until we see it, obviously, they're the third team.
I was going to say, because I like to see it on the film.
Think.
Well, I want to see it on the game. I mean, you come back from last season, that's last season. You're missing guys. There's new schemes. They have tape on you. So I can't say who's the best or who's the third and all that kind of stuff. But I do know that Syracuse and Louisville is going to be a great matchup. You have an excellent defense, and you have an excellent quarterback, Malik Cunningham, whether it's throwing the ball, running the ball. He can make plays. So that's what I'm excited to see.
I was so super high on Malik after that first season I saw him play. I thought he was going to take the league by storm. And he's had some injury issues, but now I think he's bigger. I think he's stronger. I think he's smarter. When he finishes runs, he's not trying to prove anything physically. He's getting down, getting out of bounds. He's getting rid of the ball when he needs to. And he's still one of the more electric runners at the QB position in America.
And I'll tell you, Syracuse, there's big questions there. I mean, people are writing this off. I'm curious to see what that offense looks like with Coach Anai, with Coach Beck in there working with Garrett Schrader.
That defense is going to be
really good. And that defense
really
is a great defense. What that defense could have been if they had all those pieces, but it's still going to be special. I think Syracuse has a chance to be one of those dark horses that can sneakily turn around and be like, hey, this group's bowl eligible.
Right. I think that's the goal. I think that's certainly the goal with this team. That was it last year. You remember all those great seniors. I think of big Josh Black and the things that he said. We want to go bowling, and they just came up a little bit short. But when I look at the dogs that lead that defense, and I look at Marlo Wax, I look at these great Michael Jones, these great linebackers are now grown up. I mean, they've been doing this stuff since they were freshmen. Mm-hmm. How much can that offense have a passing presence? Because if we know Sean Tucker's running every single play, I mean, they're just going to load up the box and say, hey, Schrader, go ahead, beat me. Let's see you do it. And so I'm with you. I think there's some promise there. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
How about these boys here tonight? They get it done. They win convincingly, run away with it in the second half. We know how Drake may look. They're going to App State next week. App State's a proud program. You know what App State loves? An opportunity to get a Power 5 team in their cage and get after it. We know what App State's capable of. EJ, what are your expectations in that game?
Well, for one, Chase Bryce is a Power 5 level quarterback. I mean, this is a young man that started at Clemson, moved on to Duke, and now he's at App State, found a home. They actually called their bowl game last year the Boca Raton Bowl. So I'm expecting it's going to be a tough matchup. And then it's in-state, so these guys better bring their hard hats. It's going to be a good one.
Well, you know what we're bringing over? We're bringing over a legend. We're bringing over a 1-0 head coach, baby. The birthday boy, Coach Mack Brown. We're going to take a quick break, get our guy mic'd up, because you know he's got some gems for us. And we'll return shortly once we get Coach Mack Brown dialed in here. We'll take a quick break. Be right back. Welcome back in. Just because we can't get enough of it. A look at Coach Mack Brown's office, decorated with the birthday balloons. The Jays are always in there. Is that Miss Sally's doing, perhaps? Setting it up, making it look right like that?
Well, we actually had a recruit here today, and it was his birthday.
It
looked like it was mine, but it was really for the recruit. I walked in and said, it was our recruiting staff. I walked in and said, this is so nice. They said, no, it's not for you.
So what you're telling me is nobody looked out for you? Coach.
No.
That's what we
guess
said.
what?
No.
You know who looks out for you?
Go ahead, Pastor.
Come on, baby.
Here.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, I like it.
I dare.
Do you know what a smash cake is?
Oh, yeah. Don't you do that.
Yeah.
Don't you do that.
Well, thank you.
We're going to have Coach Rick sing a happy birthday to you, but maybe we'll do that at another
He's tone deaf. You don't want to do that.
The team did it in the locker room, and they're not going to be on American Idol. So that's all I'll say.
Well, Coach, I don't know what your birthday wish was, but it sounds like you found a quarterback in Drake May. 5 touchdowns, no QB in Tar Heel history. Their first career start achieved that. How impressed were you with QB1 tonight?
I was really impressed with Drake, and I've seen it every day for a year and a half. I mean, he's calm, he's cool, he gets it, he's accurate. He's 6'5", so he's 220, and he can run. He runs much better than anybody gives him credit for,
doubt.
which you saw run down the sideline here. And then we didn't have a sack tonight, and we led the league in sacks last year. So give him credit for getting the ball out of his hands and being able to see and moving around a little bit. And he distributed the ball to a lot of different receivers. So I'm really, really pleased with him tonight. And he never changes his mentality. He's calm and cool, and he's just who he is.
Coach, that was the most impressive thing to me, was just to watch how, you said it earlier, effortless it seemed to him. I mean, he's like a true point guard out there distributing the ball, and at such a young age. He's still a freshman to have the overall grasp with the confidence. I go here, oh, there's my guy. It's got to be a cool thing to see that growth.
It is. His dad was a quarterback here and then a graduate assistant. His brother won a baseball national championship at Florida. His brother won a basketball national championship here. So this is kind of what he expects in his family, and he's the younger brother, so they've beaten him up.
That's
and
exactly
he had to
right.
learn to be competitive through all these years, so good for him.
Coach, I had a chance to recruit and coach Corey Gaynor, your center, and you didn't see TV copy, obviously, but he got a lot of love and a lot of the blocks that he made, and even some of the things that were happening on the sideline that looked like he's becoming quite a leader. Can you tell us a little bit more about Corey?
Yeah, coach at the center is so important. As he told me today, I touch it every time. Sometimes there's the wildcat or some. Nobody else touches it but me every time, Coach. So I'm the most valuable player, but he's confident. He's big, he's strong, he's passionate, he loves to play. And he's become maybe the best leader in our locker room on the offensive side of the ball in a 4 or 5 month period because he transferred in from Miami. And I'm just really proud of him. And he said, he walked up to me on the way out and he said, I've never lost a game here. And I said, yeah,
not
bad. I like that.
Coach, what was your biggest impression? I know you haven't watched the tape yet, so you'll have more time to study up and see what things were. But your defense, what was your biggest impression of your defense tonight and what they showed against FAMU?
I know what they didn't do well. What they did well is their tackling was better in the second half than it was the first. The adjustments the coaches made were better in the second half than the first. If you think Gene Chizik hadn't called a defense for 5 years.
Right.
And he and Charlton Warren haven't worked together for 5 years. And that defensive staff had never worked together until tonight. So they all can get on the same page and do better. But we got 3 sacks. We forced 2 turnovers that led to 14 points. And I thought made some really, really good plays, pressured the quarterback. Their quarterback's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Right. He made some money today.
And we thought the other one was really good, and when they benched the other one for this one, and he was at Vanderbilt and didn't play, we couldn't figure out. We said, what's wrong with this guy? There'll be something wrong.
He played his tail off.
He really did. He played really, really well.
Well, and it looked like to me Criswell might have gotten the game sooner if the other kid from FAM didn't play so good.
There's no
at
question.
The quarterback position.
We were hoping we could get him in midway through the third quarter and let him throw, and then when the game's over, Coach Simmons shut it down, and he put his backup guys in at the end of the game, try to get home, and you know how that is, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
When he does, you try to shut it down as well.
Coach, one thing that quarterback's great, I know we got all that. I want to talk about these running backs because when we were at camp, you just started rattling off numbers, and it was like NASCAR. You said 28, 23, 1, 17, all these numbers, and 28 and 23 are special. And you know, they just look different. They have that extra gear, and they showed it off tonight.
Well, I can't remember names anymore. So no, what I do in practice, instead of calling their names out, I'll say, "Hey, 28, good run, good job, 23." That it just goes faster.
Yeah,
and that's it. But we saw that in practice. They're both really, really good. 23 is faster than everybody that was chasing him.
Right.
when he got in space, and 28 is so powerful. I didn't realize it's the first freshman in his first game to get over 100 yards since Charlie Justice.
Wow.
And that's been a while. That's been a while.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
He runs 4.4. He's 220 pounds. He's really powerful. And
a lot of freshmen in that backfield.
Yeah, and tonight will really, really help those guys. Coach can tell you now, it's hard to get them where you want them to go in practice all the time. They have to play in a game. And when they play in a game, it shows you the speed's different, and people are looking at you different. They give you different looks. And then you've got to adjust all that stuff.
Well, Coach, we apologize. We're 30 minutes late on the birthday wish. It's now 12:30 a.m. It is no longer your birthday, but we try to get you something there for you to enjoy, and we'll let you get out of here. So you can take a bite if you want. I think it looks
I'm good. I've lost 10. I got another 15 I'm working on.
I'll take those 10 over here, and I'll go ahead and handle that for you. We're going to talk to your quarterback, Drake May, next, who's so impressive. Coach, we really appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win.
Great. Well, thank you guys for being here. 0 week was really special for us. I thought the game was great, and the crowd was fantastic. So what a wonderful day for Carolina football.
Beautiful day.
So thank you.
In week 0, we found a hero in Drake May. So Drake May is going to come over here and talk about his first career start, and it ended with 5 touchdowns and a lopsided victory. That's coming up next. QB1 joins the show.
So here comes Drake May, and all the accolades coming out of high school, and now he's got this offense in his control. So another third down for May. They said he can run, and Drake May, big gain for the redshirt freshman quarterback.
I was really impressed with the elusiveness of Drake May in the open field.
May, the play fake to the end zone. Touchdown, Tar Heels. May right to the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina.
Touchdown number 4. Tar Heel Nation is something to cheer about with Drake May.
Drake May joins us now. Drake, I sincerely apologize, man. There's just not enough time in the show to show all the highlights. So we tried to show as many as we could right here. First career start, 5 touchdowns, never been done by a Tar Heel quarterback in their first start ever. What was it like, man? We talked to our quarterback, E.J. Manuel, about his first career start at Florida State. We figured there'd be butterflies, some nervousness. Did you have any of that coming into tonight? Because it certainly didn't look like it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, a little bit of the first game jitters. You know, obviously I get nervous, you know, a good bit since high school before games. But, you know, I was trying out there, trust my teammates, trust the coaches. It was fun, this crowd was into it. And I think we had a good turnout. So it was fun to get that first win.
Drake, it seems like you just allow the game to come to you. We were just talking with Coach Mack Brown, and the way you distribute the ball, the way you see the offense really unfold, how does that happen so naturally for you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think just growing up playing a lot of different sports, you know, playing basketball, kind of trying to be the point guard, and I think it translates in football. And, you know, trying to get those ball to those guys that are better runners than me is the ultimate goal because, you know, get out of my hands and get into those guys.
Speaking of your running, at the end of that run, you'll see on tape that you did. You need to get out of bounds. I don't know what you're thinking about at the end, like you're going to take somebody on, but you got to be careful there.
I know. I had the ball in the wrong hand. I couldn't.
You did right.
Well, the funny thing is you had such a great night, and everybody knows it. I know you feel good about it, but you'll watch that film with your coach, and he'll start straightening out a few more things here and there. You got a long way to go. But,
that's that Sam mentality. You know, Sam was the king of the draw, and the way he ran it last year, I got to attribute to him. Don't slide and just try to get what we can.
Yes, sir.
Drake, what does it mean to you to be a part of this family lineage here in North Carolina? Your dad played here. Your brother's big shot Luke here. What does it mean for you to kind of fall in line with the rest of the family?
No, it means the world. You know, this university, I grew up coming to games here. Obviously, went to a lot of Luke's games, so, you know, UNC is where I was meant to be. It's my home state, and we got to go protect the home state next week of that.
That's right. You have a very special wide receiver in Josh Downs, and it looked early not on the same page on a couple of things, but then you go right back to him and you get him the ball. How important is he with this relationship and just to this offense?
Oh, yes, sir, no doubt. You know, 11's one of the best receivers in the country. So just keep feeding him and, you know, keep trying to give him the ball because he's special when he gets it. You know, they'll try to bracket him in 2-over-1 to try to take him out of the game, but you know, I think we need to give him the ball, and I told him that after the game. You know, I think he still ended up solid numbers, but, you know, all that matters is the win, and if he's getting the ball, we're in good shape. So
Drake, you were sharing that thing all across the field, and we were really impressed by that because for a young guy, usually you're targeting one of the top 5 receivers in college football, and that's tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. You felt confident with this whole offense. How do you feel about your offense as a whole?
Oh, I think we got a lot of good pieces. You know, we got a lot of skill on the outside and up front. How about the guys up front? They did a great job tonight. And you know, just
0 sacks.
Yes, sir.
It's got to feel good.
But you got the ball out your hand too, bro.
No, I think that's crazy to them.
No doubt.
Just trying to keep building that chemistry and keep getting after next week. So we'll look forward and watch it tomorrow.
You need to watch the Huddle, our pregame show, because your brother Luke was on, and he said all kind of nice things about you. And I'm not sure that's how it always is.
Yes, sir. Nah, you know, always competing growing up. You know, me and my 3 older brothers, you know, that's all we did, no matter what it was. So.
Well, Drake, how's this team embraced you as a new starter, man? Because when you come in, obviously Sam was the guy last year. Now you were in a quarterback competition with Jacoby Criswell, but you're QB1. So how's this team embrace you as a starter?
I think they responded to it well. You know, I think me and Jacoby both had a good relationship with the team. You know, obviously this week it was kind of new, getting used to it, but I felt like we look pretty fluid out there today, and just gotta keep getting better. I think that'll get better as the season goes on. So
Drake, kind of along those same lines, we all know the quarterback position is the position. You're the guy. You have to lead this team. You have to, when things are tough, you got to get them through it. Has it been easy for you to be vocal? Has it been easy for you to say, okay, this is my team. I'm the guy. I'm the quarterback.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think that was just something getting used to tonight. You know, FAMU, that credit to them. They did some good things offensively, and they played hard defensively. So I think it was a good little game that you know, we couldn't walk over them, and just, you know, we had to earn it. And I think it was a good game to kind of get under my belt and get used to it. You know, leading and just kind of be tough in adversity. I think it was one point in third quarter was 35-24. So we had to keep the foot on the pedal and keep going.
I'm sure Jacoby is a friend of yours. I know most quarterback rooms are more friendly than not, and I know sometimes when you're having success, you know what he's going through too. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with him.
Yes, sir. No, Jacoby. You know, we got a great relationship. You know, he's a great player, and I think you know, he's got a lot of talent. But you know, we've been supporting each other, and obviously, you know, we're still competing, so you got a little bit of that aspect. But now we're supporting each other, and I know he's there for me, and we're pushing each other to get better, and I think that's helping this team.
Drake, quickly before we let you go, you're going to go into your first road environment as a starting quarterback. App State, that place is going to be pretty lit. Are you excited for the opportunity?
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, I think that 12 o'clock game, I know they'll be rowdy up early in the morning. So, no, but I'm excited to get up to App State. Like I said, you know, home state kid. Got to defend the state, and I think we owe him one a few years back.
I'll tell you what, you owe Luke a text. That man stayed up till 2:15 in the morning in Spain to make sure he watched his baby brother. And his baby brother did not disappoint.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Drake, congratulations to you, man. Best of luck moving forward.
Yeah,
Look forward to covering you in your career because it's off to a pretty good start, my friend.
Appreciate y'all. Yeah, go Heels.
Appreciate you, buddy.
So it's a whole lot of positive here, but on the ACC Huddle, we end these shows with the curmudgeon. That's right, Coach Mark Richt, as happy as he is, as genuine a spirit, there's always something inevitably that irks him. The Beak of the Week returns to conclude the show. That's on the other side. New thing we're rolling out every week here. The Beak of the Week.
Here's my beak of the week. beak, 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 beak. So that gives me the beak to no end.
So Coach hit us with this phrase. I think it's a Southern phrase. If something upsets you,
right,
it gives you the beak.
Gives me the beak.
And Coach, you're about as easygoing as it gets, man.
I'm an easygoing guy.
Things usually don't rattle you. But when they rattle you, oh boy, do they rattle you.
It gives me the beak.
Every Saturday, there's something that gets you a little bit of ornery.
Something gets in my craw.
What is your beak of the week this week that I just
My beak of the week. Florida State scores a touchdown, right, against the Duquesne Dukes. All right, it's 6-0. So here they go for the extra point. I don't even know who number 19 is. He must be the kicker or holder or something. He sprints to the right, almost throws a pick two, a 2-point. If they intercept this ball, they can go for a touchdown. This guy ain't going to make the tackle, I promise you. So why are you doing this? Just kick the extra point. I mean, if it's a trick play that somehow can help you win a big game, then do it in a big game. Don't do it right there. So really, that just got in my craw, and I'm not sure what a craw is, but
that's what
it just gives me the beak
of the week. It's back, which means college football is back. And I can say this for all of us, man, it feels good to be back with my brothers, my family, covering college football. We get to do this all year long. We're just getting started. See, this is a pound. Let me tell you what didn't happen as Coach Mac Brown.
I saw that happen. I saw that.
Oh, Coach Mac Brown, all smiles.
Come on, Mac. Come on, Mac.
No, sir. Why Coach Mac Brown do you like that?
I got you, dog.
Thanks, bro. I'll get you too.
Hey, let me tell you, my man, it's good to be back with you. I love you.
I don't let the hanging too late now because you
College football is back, everybody. We'll see you next week.